From fluffy tree climbers and desert foxes with giant ears to massive hybrid cats, mountain masters, and the world's happiest looking animal, nature is full of creatures that seem almost too incredible to be real.
Did you know red pandas are so gentle that zookeepers can sometimes carry them around just by holding their fluffy tails? And the funniest part is, the red panda usually just accepts defeat and slowly drags its tiny front paws across the ground like a lazy little plush toy. But despite looking adorable, red pandas are surprisingly picky eaters. When you hand them a grape or a sweet fruit, they become completely focused on chewing it with serious concentration, almost like they're carefully reviewing the flavor. But here's something most people don't know. Red pandas are extremely sensitive to sweetness. They're one of the few non-primate animals capable of detecting artificial sweeteners, which means sugary fruits are basically irresistible to them. Sometimes, just for another bite of apple or grape, a red panda will even start climbing, stretching, or doing tiny acrobatics to reach the treat. And baby red pandas might be even cuter. When they're born, their famous reddish fur hasn't fully developed yet, making them look soft, clumsy, and almost completely different from adults. But as they grow older, they slowly develop the fluffy red coat and giant tail that make them look like living teddy bears.
Think those ears are big? Wait until you hear what they're actually used for.
Did you know there's a tiny fox with ears so big it looks like a real-life cartoon character? Meet the fennec fox, the smallest fox in the world and one of the cutest desert survivors on Earth. A full-grown fennec fox is barely bigger than a house cat, but its giant ears can grow nearly half the size of its body. And those ears aren't just adorable. They actually work like built-in cooling systems, helping the fox survive the extreme heat of the Sahara Desert. But here's the coolest part. Those giant ears are so sensitive that a fennec fox can hear tiny insects and animals moving underneath the sand. It basically has desert super hearing. Fennec foxes are also full of energy. They love jumping, digging, and zooming around their burrows like tiny fluffy rockets. And even though they live in one of the hottest places on Earth, they rarely drink water directly. Most of their hydration comes from the food they eat. But behind all that chaotic energy is a surprisingly loving animal. So next time you see a fennec fox bouncing around with those giant ears, remember, you're looking at one of nature's tiniest and toughest little survivors.
Now let's meet a giant so rare that it exists almost nowhere in the wild.
Did you know there's a giant cat so massive that even lions and tigers look small beside it?
Meet the Liger, a rare hybrid born from a male lion and a female tiger.
And yes, it's real.
Ligers are considered the largest cats on Earth, sometimes growing over 12 feet long and weighing close to 900 pounds.
That's much bigger than either of their parents.
But here's the strange part. Ligers don't exist naturally in the wild. Because lions and tigers live in completely different habitats, ligers are only born in captivity. And even though they look intimidating, many ligers actually inherit a mix of both parents' personalities. They often enjoy swimming like tigers while also being unusually social like lions. But their massive size comes with a serious downside. Because their bodies grow so quickly, ligers can suffer from joint pain, organ problems, and other health complications as they age. Which is why many people debate whether breeding them is ethical at all. So next time you see a liger standing beside a normal lion, remember, you're looking at one of the biggest and most unusual cats ever created.
From giant cats to mountain legends, with some of the most incredible horns on Earth.
Did you know there's a mountain animal so fearless that it can climb near vertical cliffs like it's walking on flat ground? Meet the Markhor, the national animal of Pakistan and one of the most incredible wild goats on Earth. The Markhor is famous for its massive spiral horns, which can grow over 5 feet long in males, twisting like giant corkscrews. But those horns aren't just for looks. During mating season, male Markhors battle each other on dangerous mountain edges, crashing their heavy horns together while trying to push each other off balance. And somehow, they manage to do all this without falling. Markhors are also incredible climbers. They live high in rocky mountains and can balance on steep cliffs so easily that predators struggle to follow them. But here's the strangest part. The name Markhor actually means snake eater. People once believed these animals hunted snakes, and some local legends even claim their saliva could cure snake bites. Of course, that part isn't scientifically proven, but it definitely made the Markhor even more legendary. So next time you see a Markhor standing calmly on a cliff edge, remember, you're looking at one of nature's greatest mountain grad survivors.
And finally, the animal famous for what might be the happiest smile in the entire animal kingdom.
Did you know the world's happiest animal is actually a tiny wild survivor with a permanent smile? Meet the Quokka, the adorable little marsupial that became famous for looking like it's always happy. But here's the funny part. Quokkas aren't actually smiling on purpose. That cheerful expression is just the natural shape of their face. And because they often stick their tongues out to cool down in the Australian heat, they somehow look even happier in photos. That's why tourists love taking selfies with them. Quokkas are also incredibly relaxed around humans and usually don't mind people nearby, which makes them seem unusually friendly for a wild animal. But don't let the cute face fool you. These tiny animals are surprisingly tough. They can survive long periods without food by storing fat in their tails, almost like little furry batteries. And despite being calm and cuddly looking, quokkas are still wild animals with sharp claws and teeth. So next time you see a smiling quokka online, remember, behind that adorable grin is one of Australia's toughest little survivors.